Good evening. As you know, we're still in 2-3 with this video, and we're going to talk about what do we do when we have to simplify before we solve an equation. Now this is where we start getting into what we call multi-step equations. But before we do that, we're going to have a little review. Okay, in Chapter 1, we talked about how to simplify an expression. And that skill, which we weren't that good at in Chapter 1, to be honest, will be very important as we simplify before we solve. So if you'll remember, when we simplified, we talked about distributing, and we talked about combining like terms. Now the first thing that we want to do is distribute. So let's look at just this first example here. I have a set of parentheses with a number in front. That's my tell-all sign that I need to distribute. So I'm going to take 4 times 2, and I'm just going to keep the first part the same for now. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times x is 4x. So now I've gotten rid of the parentheses. After I distribute, the next step is to combine like terms. Well, hopefully you remember that 14x and 4x would be like terms. So when I combine those, I get 18x plus 8. Now I can't combine those, and hopefully you know why, and it's because the 8 does not have an x. Let's look at another one. Again, I have parentheses, so I know I have to distribute. So I'm going to do 6 times x and 6 times negative 4. Okay, remember I got to pay attention to the sign in front, so that means minus 24. Now again, after I get rid of the parentheses, I look for like terms. Now I have 2 constants here, and constants are like terms. So I have negative 24 plus 9. Well, negative 24 plus 9, those are different signs. I'm going to subtract them. So 24 minus 9 is 15. 24 is bigger, so it's going to be minus. So I get 6x minus 15. And one more before we get started here. Again, parentheses, got to distribute. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 3 is 15. And then I still have this minus 7x. So again, like terms, I gotta look for them. I got 5x, I got minus 7x. Okay, so 5 plus negative 7, or 5 minus 7, is negative 2 plus 15. And again, I can't combine those anymore because they're not like terms. Alright, so those are the skills we learned in Chapter 1. So just wanted to review those because they'll be very important for this section. So here's our steps, and make sure that you write these steps down. When we see an equation, the first thing we want to look for is, can we distribute? So we're looking for parentheses. Okay, can we distribute? If we can, we go ahead and do that. Then once we've done that, we look for like terms, and we put them together. Only after we've done both of those things do we start to solve. Now one of the major mistakes that happens with these is that people try to solve right away before they do the first 2 steps. And then they end up getting really confused with what goes where, and it just doesn't work very well. So please do the first 2 steps, then solve. So I got 3 examples here. Let's start with the first one. So first one, first thing I look for, parentheses. I don't see any, so I don't have to distribute. Next thing I look for is like terms. So you see here I have an 8x and a minus 5x, or a negative 5x. So 8x plus negative 5x, or 8x minus 5x, is 3x. I still have the minus 21, and then I have equals negative 15. Now I can solve. This is just now a 2-step equation. So what's happening to x? Well, it's getting times by 3 and minus 21. So how am I going to undo that? Well, I'm going to add 21 first, so let's do that. So I have 3x equals negative 15 plus 21. Well, again, different sign, so I got to subtract. I get 6. 21's bigger, so it's positive. And then I'm going to divide by 3 to undo the multiplication. So I do that, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So I've solved that to be x equals 2. Okay? And again, this is how I would show my work. Okay? Just like this. Let's look at our second example. First thing I look for again, parentheses. I got them, so let's distribute. 4 times x, 4x. 4 times negative 2, negative 8. Still have plus 2x equals 40. Next thing I look for, like terms. I have some. 4x plus 2x. That's 6x. Minus 8 equals 40. Now I'm able to start solving the equation. So what's happening to x? Well, it's being times by 6 and then subtracted by 8. So what am I going to do? I'm going to add 8 and then, well, let's do that first. Plus 8 plus 8. So then I have 6x equals 48. And then to undo times 6, I'm going to divide by 6. So then I get x equals 8. Okay? Alright, third example here. And I put this one in here because, as you can see, we have parentheses, but there doesn't appear to be a number inside of the parentheses. Okay? And these ones cause people a lot of issues. So when I have a minus sign and then parentheses, think of that as negative 1 times the parentheses. Okay? So whenever you see this, put a 1 in there. So then I'm going to distribute. Okay, so I still have my 10y. I'm going to take negative 1 here times 4y. That's going to give me negative 4y. And then I'm going to take negative 1 times 8. That's going to give me negative 8. Okay? So beware of these. When there's a negative sign in front of the parentheses. Then I've distributed now, so I gotta look for like terms. Well, I have 10y and negative 4y. So 10y plus negative 4y, 6y. Alright, so now I'm ready once again to solve. Alright, so I'm kind of running out of room here. Let me kind of divide this off for you. Okay. So, what's happening to y? Well, first thing, times 6. Second thing, minus 8. So the first thing I want to do is plus 8. So plus 8 plus 8 gives me 6y equals, and this is a negative 20. So again, different signs. I'm going to subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. Then undo times 6. I'm going to divide by 6. So divide by 6, divide by 6. Y is negative 2. Okay, so that's how we simplify before we solve. So remember, distribute, combine like terms, then solve. As you can see, there's a lot of work to be shown on these particular types of problems, and I expect to see this on your homework, on your Friday quizzes, and on your tests. Alright, we'll see you guys tomorrow.